Have you ever walked into your garden, spotted something dark and spiny crawling across your plants, and immediately reached for a spray bottle? Most people do. You see a strange insect on a stem. It's black, covered in tiny spikes, and moves like a predator. And your first thought is simple. That can't be good. So, you spray. A few seconds later, the insect is gone, and you feel like you've protected your plants. But what if those few seconds were actually one of the biggest gardening mistakes you could make? Because that strange creature wasn't attacking your garden. It was helping it. Every year, countless gardeners unknowingly destroy one of nature's most effective pest controllers simply because it looks like something that doesn't belong. It doesn't look friendly. It looks like a pest. And that's exactly why so many people eliminate it on sight. But before you pick up that spray bottle again, there's something you need to see. Because what you're seeing may not be a pest at all. What if the creature you thought was destroying your garden was actually the only thing protecting it? To understand why, we need to take a closer look at what it really is. What exactly is this mysterious creature? It's the larval stage of a ladybug. And if you've never seen one before, you'd never guess it. Instead of the bright red shell and black spots we associate with ladybugs, the larva looks almost like a tiny monster. Its body is dark gray or black, covered in small spikes and bumps. It moves quickly across leaves and stems, stopping only when it finds something to hunt. And that's the problem. Everything about it looks suspicious. It doesn't look friendly. It doesn't look helpful. It looks like the kind of insect that should be removed immediately. Honestly, it's easy to understand why so many gardeners get it wrong. As humans, we judge by appearances. We see colorful butterflies and assume they're harmless. We see dark, spiny insects and assume they're trouble. But nature doesn't follow our rules. Some of the most beautiful creatures in the garden contribute very little to protecting your plants. Meanwhile, some of the most valuable allies look like they belong in a horror movie. The ladybug larva is a perfect example. What appears to be an unwanted intruder is actually one of the hardest working defenders your garden will ever have. From the moment it hatches, it begins patrolling leaves and stems with a single mission: finding pests. And the strangest part is that this ugly little creature can outperform most pesticides. To understand why this strange little creature is so valuable, you have to start before it even hatches. A female ladybug doesn't lay her eggs randomly. She searches carefully for aphid colonies and places her tiny yellow eggs directly beside them. Why? Because she knows exactly what her offspring will need the moment they emerge. Imagine a leaf covered with aphids. Hundreds of them clustered together, feeding on plant sap and multiplying rapidly. To the aphids, it looks like a thriving city, safe, crowded, and full of food. But hidden nearby is a cluster of yellow eggs, and inside those eggs, predators are waiting. When the larvae hatch, they don't waste time. They don't explore. They don't wander. They hunt. Almost immediately, they begin moving across leaves and stems, searching for aphids. One by one, they seize them and consume them with remarkable efficiency. A single ladybug larva can eat between 200 and 400 aphids before it reaches adulthood. Think about that for a moment. While many gardeners are mixing sprays and searching for solutions, this tiny predator is already doing the job for free, targeting only the pests and leaving the rest of the garden untouched. And its work doesn't stop after the larval stage. According to research from Cornell University, a single ladybug can consume up to 5,000 aphids throughout its lifetime. That's thousands of plant-damaging pests removed naturally, without chemicals, without effort, and without harming beneficial insects. In many healthy gardens, ladybugs are quietly controlling aphid populations long before gardeners even notice a problem. But the hunting phase is only half the story. What happens next is far more unbelievable. After 1 to 2 weeks of nonstop hunting, the ladybug larva reaches the next stage of its life. And this is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. The larva attaches itself to a leaf or stem and suddenly stops moving. Its body hardens into a small orange and black capsule known as a pupa. To most people, it looks lifeless, but inside, something extraordinary is happening. The larva isn't simply growing wings or changing color. Much of its body is being broken down and rebuilt. Scientists describe this process as a kind of cellular reorganization. Some tissues dissolve into what is often called a cellular soup, while specialized groups of cells, known as histoblasts, begin constructing the adult insect. Imagine if your body dissolved and rebuilt itself into a completely different version of you. That's essentially what is happening inside the pupa. Over the next several days, entirely new structures begin to form. Wings develop where none existed before. Compound eyes take shape, legs are reorganized, and the familiar shell of the adult ladybug slowly emerges. Then comes the final reveal. When the pupa splits open, the adult ladybug crawls out, but it doesn't look like the bright red insect we recognize. At first, it is pale, soft, and almost colorless. Its spots may be faint or completely absent. Over the next few hours, the exoskeleton hardens. The red coloration deepens. The black spots become visible. Gradually, the transformation is complete. The tiny black hunter that once stalked aphids has become the iconic ladybug we all know. But even after becoming an adult, the ladybug still has one secret weapon most people never hear about. The bright red color of a ladybug isn't there to make it look cute. It's a warning. When threatened, ladybugs can release a toxic compound called coccinelline through their leg joints in a defense mechanism known as reflex bleeding. Tiny droplets of this bitter-tasting fluid signal to predators that the ladybug is not a pleasant meal. And over millions of years, predators have learned the lesson. Birds, lizards, and other insect-eating animals often avoid ladybugs after a single bad experience. That's why the ladybug's bright red shell is so important. In nature, vivid colors often mean one thing: stay away. You'll find the same strategy in poison dart frogs, whose brilliant colors advertise their toxicity, and in monarch butterflies, whose orange and black wings warn predators of the chemicals stored in their bodies. The ladybug follows the same rule. Instead of hiding from danger, it announces its defenses for everyone to see. Its colors are a message written in a language that predators understand instantly. Don't eat me. And it works remarkably well. The ladybug survives not by hiding, but by being unforgettable. But here's something many gardeners don't realize. Not every ladybug in your garden is the same. Since the 1980s, a species known as the Asian lady beetle has spread across North America after being introduced as a biological pest control agent. At first, the idea seemed simple. Release more predators to help control crop pests. But nature rarely follows simple plans. The Asian lady beetle is often larger than many native ladybug species and can usually be identified by a distinctive M-shaped marking just behind its head. While it does eat aphids, it also competes aggressively with native ladybugs for food and habitat. In some cases, it will even consume the eggs and larvae of other ladybug species. As a result, several native ladybug populations have declined significantly over the past few decades. It's a reminder that even well-intentioned attempts to control nature can produce unexpected consequences. What begins as a solution can sometimes create an entirely new problem. Nature is a web of relationships, and when one thread is pulled, the effects can spread much farther than anyone expects. But despite the challenges posed by invasive species, there is another threat that affects both native and non-native ladybugs alike. And surprisingly, it often comes from the very people trying to help their gardens. But even invasive species aren't causing as much damage as one thing many gardeners do every week. This brings us to the biggest mistake many gardeners make. When aphids appear, the natural reaction is to spray. After all, you can see the pests. You want them gone. And the spray seems like the fastest solution. The problem is that pesticides rarely target only the pests. They also eliminate the creatures that were controlling those pests for free. Ladybug larvae, adult ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps, and countless other beneficial insects often become unintended casualties. At first, the results can look successful. The aphids disappear, but so do their predators, and that's where the trap begins. A few weeks later, a new aphid colony arrives. This time, there are fewer natural enemies waiting for them. The population grows faster than before, so you spray again. And with every application, the balance shifts further in favor of the pests. It's like firing your entire security team because you saw one thief. The thief may be gone for a moment, but now there's nobody left to stop the next one. Over time, many gardens become trapped in a frustrating cycle. More pests, more spray, fewer predators, more pests. The very tool meant to solve the problem can end up making the garden more dependent on it year after year. Meanwhile, gardens with healthy populations of beneficial insects often regulate themselves naturally, requiring far less intervention. The good news is that breaking this cycle doesn't require expensive products or complicated techniques. Fortunately, escaping this cycle is surprisingly simple. So what should you do the next time you discover aphids on your plants? The answer is surprisingly simple. Wait 3 days. Before reaching for a spray bottle, take a closer look at what's happening in your garden. Check the undersides of leaves for small clusters of yellow eggs. Look for dark, spiny ladybug larvae moving among the aphids. Watch for adult ladybugs patrolling stems and leaves. You may discover that nature has already sent help. In many cases, ladybugs can locate and begin controlling an aphid colony long before serious damage occurs. All they need is a little time. You can also make your garden more welcoming to these natural allies. Plant flowers such as dill, fennel, yarrow, and marigolds, which provide pollen and nectar when aphids are scarce. Leave some leaf litter and sheltered areas through winter, so ladybugs have safe places to overwinter and return in spring. Sometimes the most effective thing a gardener can do is not to intervene immediately. Observation is often more powerful than action. The best gardeners aren't the ones who fight nature, they're the ones who work with it. And when you learn to recognize the allies already living in your garden, you may find that the garden begins taking care of itself. The next time you see something crawling across your plants, remember the 3 words that fooled so many gardeners: dark, spiny, strange. They sound like warning signs. They look like reasons to reach for a spray bottle. But sometimes, appearances can be deceiving. That strange little creature may not be a pest at all. It may be your garden's protector, a relentless aphid hunter, and one of the biggest reasons your plants stay healthy throughout the growing season. So before you spray, take a closer look. Nature often solves problems in ways we don't immediately recognize. Have you ever mistaken a ladybug larva for a harmful insect? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to discover more hidden allies living in your garden, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.